hit parade singer Gisele MacKenzie, and the Lawrence Welk Show singer Dick Dale. And now, here he is, the man of the half hour, Skip E Lowe.
Gisele MacKenzie, Dick Dale. Really? Where are you from originally? Winnipeg, Canada?
Mm-hmm.
Really? When did you first arrive here in America?
35 years ago.
35 years ago.
I was about, I was very young. I was about 12.
Where are you from, Dick?
I'm from Melbourne, Iowa.
Iowa, Midwest.
Yes,
I see.
cold.
Tell me something.
Well,
Gisele,
Winnipeg is Midwest.
Yeah.
Gisele, tell me something. Winnipeg, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
You were a singer in Winnipeg. You went to school there, studied voice.
Mm-hmm.
You had your, no?
I never studied voice.
You never
I was
did?
self-taught.
Self-taught.
You did a good job.
Yeah.
Thank
How about
you.
you, Dick? Same thing?
I just got out of high school, joined a band, and went on the road.
As a band singer?
No, I didn't start singing till after I got out of the service. And I started singing in Pat O'Brien's down in New Orleans, singing Chicory Chick, Chala Chala.
Hey, that's a great club, Pat O'Brien's. You ever been
Great.
there? It's a great club.
Fantastic.
Yeah, on Bourbon Street. It's it's wonderful. Tell me, Gisele MacKenzie, you had your own show, the Hit Parade and everything else. You worked with Bob Crosby.
Tell me. That was on the last days of radio. Bob Crosby's Club 15, you see. And I replaced the Andrews Sisters. And then I was on with Bob, and Joe Stafford was on too. And then finally they cut it down to 3 a week. Those were the last days of big radio.
Where
And so
did they have the big radio show? Was that
Right
on
here
Vine
at-
Street?
yes,
On Vine, where Merv Griffith's show is. Isn't that
No,
the
no,
place?
no, Gower.
On Gower.
The CBS on,
Oh, I see.
on Gower. And then I was with Bob till the end of the show, which was, he had such a funny way of putting things. He used to say Campbell's Soups was our sponsor. He said, well, Campbell's Soups canned everything, and finally they canned the show. But that was after 2.5 years. I mean, it was a long time to be. Then I went into television.
So you did go right into TV right after
Yeah,
that. But the Hit Parade came in later.
That's a little later,
Yeah.
yeah.
But tell me the early Gisele MacKenzie, when you first arrived Hollywood.
Well, I arrived for the Bob Crosby's Club 15,
15,
radio show. So I went straight from Canada to
in
here.
Canada, but weren't you in records at Capitol? Did they sign you up right
Well,
away?
at the same time.
They did.
Yes, and I was doing the Mario Lanza show for Coca-Cola.
Mario Lanza.
Yes,
That's right.
I was a frequent guest. And in fact, it became very funny. At one point, MGM, what do you call it when you can't do anything?
They coach you.
No, when a star does something wrong in those days, they used to prevent them from doing anything. What's the word? Oh,
I
dear.
don't know. Doesn't matter.
Well, I've got the word. I'll tell you later,
Okay.
probably.
Call us
Thanks a lot, right?
Go ahead.
But anyway, he was forbidden to do anything else because he was in trouble with MGM. So I finished the series, and it was called the Mario Lanza Show, starring Gisele MacKenzie, which is kind of a funny.
What kind of guy was Mario Lanza?
Well, to me, he was wonderful. He was very nice, and he spoke like a priest. I mean, with other people,
What do you mean he spoke like a priest?
Well, he
never cursed or
He
anything?
never used a word that wasn't.
Really?
And with other people, I hear he was quite like a sailor, you know, kind of salty. But with
But he
me,
loved to eat.
yes, I never knew what he was going to look like. I'd pass him by sometimes because he would be skinny one week and chubby the next. I mean, it
Did you
became.
do it that fast?
Oh, he used to go and crash things that you wouldn't believe, which
Crash
is not.
diets and
Yes,
crash-
that's not good for you,
Oh,
you know.
right.
And but I never knew how he was going to look.
Dick Dale. Lawrence Welk. I mean, that's a long time. 32 years you've been on
32
Lawrence
years.
Welk?
As Giselle said, I joined when I was 12, too.
Yes,
You're big for
It was a very big year.
You're big for 12, I must say. But tell me something. 32 years. You must have some great stories on Lawrence Welk Show.
We did have some very funny things because when we first started out, we were on local TV on KTLA, and then we went on ABC as a summer replacement.
It
for
started
13
local,
weeks. Yes,
didn't it?
we went
Yeah.
KTLA. We went in as a summer replacement for 13 weeks and wound up for around 27 years on coast to coast. It was beautiful.
He's a nice guy, isn't
He is. He's a hard man. He didn't always know how to get what he wanted. I mean, he didn't have the knowledge of the musical knowledge of getting what he wanted. So sometimes we had to rehearse the song over and over and over until we finally get it right.
Dick, did he pick the songs that you had to sing that week? Or
Well,
did you have your own?
No, he basically picked them. He okayed everything.
He okayed it.
But he put the final stamp on everything.
You couldn't pick your own.
Oh yeah, occasionally. I mean, you take something. You would offer things. You say,
Yeah.
"Gee, I think this would be good for the show and good for me," and you listen either okay or no, I don't think so.
I see. Every week that show was on. Every week. Same as your hit parade. Right. How many years
Well, we were
you
stuck with the songs that were there.
there in the hit parade? Yes.
Oh,
You had some
gee.
goodies,
I mean,
didn't you?
Yes, I had one that I'll never forget. One was called "Let Me Go Lover,"
I do.
and those were live days, you know. So in those days, now is this funny? Nowadays they can say anything, they do anything. Television, I mean, is laissez-faire. But I mean, in those days, the men could not sing the word "lover." Is that hysterical? So
As
that's
compared to today, that's pretty
yes.
funny.
Now
right?
they can say anything. But so the song was left to Dorothy Collins and me, because Snooky Lanson and Russell Lawrence were not allowed to
Say
sing the
lover.
word "lover." So they stuck me with it. Dorothy didn't like the song, so every week I got it. One week I was a puppet on a string. Another week I was a fly caught in a spider web, but I was a crazy-looking fly. Boy, I had those stockings going up to here, and an antenna and everything. You know, I was really. But I mean, it became to a point where I thought, if that thing doesn't go off the air, I'm going to scream. You know, or I think I did it 17 weeks in a row. Let me
The
go.
hit parade.
couldn't believe it.
The songs really lasted those days, didn't they?
Some of them did. Some
What
of them
were
went on and went right off.
What were the big songs those days, really, that you really enjoyed doing?
Well, the ones, the Tony Bennett's were very good, the Rags to Riches and the San Francisco, you know. But Sinatra and Nat Cole had a lot of biggies, and Rosemary Clooney and Patti Page. But I had
You had a biggie,
I
too.
had a
You
biggie. I was
certainly
the only
did.
one that had that ever had the pleasure and the privilege of singing my own hit, number one. So that was
And
a
the
thrill.
biggie was
Hard to get.
Hard to Get.
Yeah.
Great song, too.
So that it was really a thrill and a half, you know, when you
Oh,
sing
I
your
see.
own. I mean, you're a nervous wreck. You can sing everybody else's songs, This Little House
Right.
with
Yeah,
Rosemary Clooney, but it's hard to sing your own.
Giselle, what's new and exciting in your life right now? I mean,
Well, I wish I could say there's earth-shaking news,
Uh-huh.
like, you know, a big, wonderful show like a Cagney and Lacey or something. But I did
would you
have...
like to do something like that?
Oh, yes.
You would.
Oh, yes, because
Dick, how about you? Would you like to do some acting?
I've done a lot of it.
You have,
I
yes.
don't think I really care for that. I enjoy being on stage, but as far as I have trouble learning lyrics and to learn lines in a
The lines are easier.
easier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
they
you're
really
talking to
are.
somebody,
Yeah, maybe that'd be all right.
you know.
I made up enough lyrics in my time. I'll tell you.
But you would like to do
Well, I've done a lot of that in the past, but now I had a very interesting experience. It was a challenge, really. A few weeks ago, I replaced a lady who wasn't well on the top soap, which is The Young and the Restless,
That's right.
and I got to play her part. But I mean, they give you 25 to 30 pages of dialogue a day, if you think that isn't something.
wow.
And
Soap is tough. They give you a
No
lot of
cards,
lines.
no cards.
Oh, they have some, because otherwise you'd go, you know, fruitcake.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, you have to be so familiar with it. But the thing is, they don't rehearse very much. And I had a couple of actors come to me during the 2 weeks that I was on, which was a wonderful experience. First of all, I had to wear a blonde wig, which is very funny. But that was okay. I didn't stay long enough to find out if blondes had more fun. But I had a couple of actors walk up to
I'll
me.
tell you, they do, darling.
Do they?
They do.
What about the ones with
ahead.
white hair?
Well, we have fun too, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
more
right.
fun.
Okay, Giselle.
But anyway, I had a couple of actors come up to me, and one of them tapped me on the shoulder. He said, I've been your lover. I said, oh, how was it? And he said, well, I just want you to know I was your lover. I said, oh, okay. Then another fellow came up and he says, oh, I'm your son. And you haven't even seen what the guy looks like. You don't know how he walks, how he talks. You haven't heard his voice.
No
And
idea.
it's really weird. And then
Oh, wow.
they don't rehearse that much, so it's kind of hard to have a rapport with your
Well,
son
it's
when
like
you
a-
barely met him. You know?
It's
But
like taking a vocal part home and you have the baritone part and you go home and sing the baritone part by yourself. And you
yes, it's funny.
Tell me about
But it was-
Sinatra,
it was
Giselle.
really,
Giselle,
well-
tell me about Sinatra. You know Sinatra, don't you?
No,
You don't?
No.
I thought you were very good
I
friends.
sang his songs, but I don't know.
You've never met Sinatra? No. But Crosby you do. Bing
well,
Crosby you
no,
do.
not Bing.
You
Just-
never knew
no,
Bing?
No, I never
Really?
met
And you
Bing.
worked
I
with
worked with
Bob?
Bob.
And isn't it strange Bing was very private, though.
Mhm,
But,
yes, he was.
Because I had the Andrews sisters on several times.
Yeah.
And
Well, they were close to Bing because they did pictures
yeah,
with
they
them,
did.
you see.
They didn't do that many.
Did a lot of records.
They
with them,
did
too.
a lot of records,
Yes.
but only about 3 or 4 pictures. That's
Yeah.
all they did. Their pictures with Bud Abbott and Lou Costello.
Oh.
That's what they did at Universal.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your days in Hollywood like? I mean, you know, the days that you were here with the Hollywood Christmas parade. You did
Well, it
that
was
several
fun.
times, didn't you?
Yes, it was
the
fun.
Christmas parade.
And I enjoyed the whole thing, you know.
Uh-huh.
But I live simply anyway, so I mean, I was never one of those crazy Hollywood types.
You've
It's not
never
my-
been? No.
It's not my style.
I see.
You know.
And how about you, Dick?
Well, I
You
live
have a
in- I live-
business,
I
right?
live- yeah, we have a new business. My wife runs it most of the time. We have a skincare center over on Robertson in Beverly Hills.
Uh-huh.
It's Metron. Can I get that in?
Yes,
I already
of
did,
course,
didn't I?
of course. Go ahead.
It's Metron Skincare. It's new to Southern California, but it's been up in Canada for over 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so we liked it so much that we thought, well, we want the people down in Southern California to find out about it.
I see.
And it is a great product.
Well, it's
Skin-
you know, especially skincare would be very, very popular, very hot here.
Yes, everybody, I think everybody in Southern California.
You're married, Gisele?
No,
You?
not now.
You're not now?
No.
I see.
But I
Tell
have
me-
2 children.
But you've done a lot of, you have 2 children. Are they in the business?
My daughter Gigi, is starting, and she's got the young sound, you know.
Yeah.
Gigi. I
Yes,
like that.
Gigi.
Gigi.
She doesn't like what I do, but I don't like what she does either. So I mean, but
What
we were-
does she do?
Well, I mean, she is a singer, a young singer. She's starting out, and with her group, and her sound, of course, is too loud. Number 1, and they're all deaf. Number 2,
What?
they're all yeah.
You're right.
See what I mean?
I have 4 kids, I can say that.
Yeah. And but she's very talented, and she's really got, I think, a star quality. And I have a son who's in the Air Force.
I see.
Yeah, so.
I see. But tell me something, Gisele. Hollywood has changed a lot. You've been around here for
Uh-huh,
years
I would
and
say so,
years.
yeah.
Yeah, you know. So what's the change like?
Well, I don't know. First of all, the physically has changed. I mean, you don't even know where you're going half the time, you
Uh-huh.
know. But I don't know. It seemed to be a little more small town. In
Small
those days.
town
Yeah.
than
Yes.
it was before?
Yes. I mean, in the old
Oh,
days,
in
it
the
was
old
more
days, it was
small
small
towns.
town, yes.
Now it's not. I don't know.
I
It
see.
just.
Well, I guess we're just a different generation. I feel the same way. It's like physically it's changed, and the people have changed. It's
Tell me about Lawrence Welk Show. I mean, you've been on that 32 weeks, like I said. Right?
32 years.
32 years. Yeah, right.
32
weeks. 32 years, right. 32 years. Tell me, Lawrence Welk does he audition his people, or when he gets his talent, or do the talent, how does he pick his people? I mean, you've been
Oh,
there.
he definitely picks the person who's going to come on.
Each singer he comes,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know, a lot of the people who came on the show at the latter part of the latter years were people who had. We would go out on tour, and they would have a champagne lady for every town we played in.
And each town?
Yes, and
They have-
usually they had some singing talent.
I see.
And a lot of times people would come up when we were on tour, like people from Tennessee, to
Uh-huh.
say, I sing, and here's a tape, and sometimes he would invite them out of the audience and have them sing while we were doing a concert.
Do you think that's hurt your career, Dick Dale, or is it made it better for you? I mean, to get work right at the moment. The Lawrence Welk Show. To be on 32 years, I mean, like you say, you don't want to be an actor. So
Well,
it's-
fortunately, we had a lot
you're
of...
considered a singer.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah.
I also played saxophone, you know, and...
That's what you started with,
Yeah.
a band sax.
That's what I sang when I came on the Lawrence Welk Show.
Uh-huh.
But, I don't know. When we first came out to California, it was a very close-knit, it was a very small group, and we had a small band, and Roberta Lynn was the vocalist on the show, and let's see who...
The dancer, the tap dancer, was he on the show? The
Arthur
original?
Duncan? No.
Arthur, yeah.
No,
Arthur Duncan.
he joined later.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Who were the originals then?
the original singers.
Yeah, it started.
Well, when we first came out, there were... I think I was one of the... Well, Rocky Rockwell was... He played trumpet, and he had like the bangs, like the Ishkabibble haircut.
Yeah, Ishkabibble. Uh-huh.
And he did the novelty songs, and I think that would be the only people that... and I was on one of the singers. Roberta Lynn was a singer, and people around Southern California would know her. Garth Andrews was one of the vocalists. He played saxophone also. And we had an Irish tenor named Gene Purcell. And and Larry Hooper, of course.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's about all the singers. It seemed like everybody did double duty. You played and
I heard
sang
rumors
and-
about Lawrence Welk that he was a difficult man. I just want to clarify that. Is it? No,
Well, like I say, he was a hard man because he.
what do you mean by hard? Like, tell me. What do you mean?
Well,
by that?
he wanted it his way, which is only right. He was the leader. And
Do you agree with that? Someone should have it his way. I mean, if you, I mean,
Well,
should you have it,
It's your show. I guess you run the ship.
when we
Is
went
that-
when we went on when we went to ABC and
Yes.
Our first show, they wanted the agency came in and they wanted a line of girls and a comedian and everything. And Lawrence says,
Lawrence,
no,
no, I see.
we don't do it that way. We do it with the band, and that's how it is.
Keep it Middle America. That's what
Middle
he's
America,
kept it.
yeah.
Really, basically, that's
And
what
it
he
was,
kept it.
Well, I don't know whether it was all his accent or not, but a lot of people, it was like, well, it was a variety show within
Yes,
the band
yes,
because there were
yes.
so many
Yes.
different type of singers, and if you didn't like me, somebody else came along you liked, and it was just
Yes.
like, here's one,
It
here's
was kind
one.
of a family in a
Yeah,
way,
right.
wasn't
was.
it?
Pretty much.
Giselle, let me ask you a question. Looking back over your life, do you have any regrets?
I don't think you should have regrets because everything was for a purpose. You see. Let me give you an example.
Yes.
I was trained as a concert violinist. In fact, I was a scholarship student in the scholarship school in Canada, and in Canada, they're tough.
Yeah.
They never hand you anything. When you win a scholarship, I mean, you have to win it like an Olympics.
Yes.
You earned it all the way.
Yes, you've earned it all the way. So I was a graduate of the graduate school, and I was there for 4 years, and as a graduate, I was full-fledged, ready to go out into the concert field. But that wasn't in my heart. I didn't feel happy doing that. And so I gave it up to become a singer and then an actress, too. So that a lot of people have said to me through the years, well, why did you bother? My parents wanted me to do it, of course. That's why I was there. Why did you pursue the complete education as a musician and so on, and went through all of that training as a musician and as a violinist? I said, look. They said, don't you regret? I said, no, because if it hadn't been for that, I would have never played those famous duets with Jack Benny, those violin duets
That's
that are
right.
locked up at UCLA in his
That's
vault
right.
for 100 years. You see? So I said, you should not regret, really,
Also,
because everything
so
was
you
for a
get-
purpose.
It was good training for your
Oh,
voice,
it's
too.
wonderful.
So if you had your
initial
life to live over again, you would do the same, exactly the
Probably.
Tell me about Jack Benny those days.
Oh,
Jack Benny, what a master.
Now that's a man.
This is a
who's really
man
done-
who just walked out and
Yeah.
just looked at the camera.
He used
and
to
that
say,
was it.
he called me Dollface. He used to say, Dollface? He said, I have more guts than anybody I know.
we did his show one time.
You did too, huh?
And I was the one who sang the song that went through the years that when you say,
Love and Blue?
no, when you say I'll come to you, I can't
From out
remember.
of nowhere?
No, it was a funny name tune. I beg your pardon. I goofed it up really bad. But I sang it on the show, and it was funny. It was one of the greatest things in my life to do the Jack Benny show, and because he did things when we had dress rehearsal, but when it came time to the show, he put some things in there, and the band just fell off the stand. But
What
it
kind
was
of funny things do you remember about Jack Benny, working with him?
First of all, he was a wonderful person.
He was.
Oh, he was a doll. And
And Mary, too, his wife. Lovely lady, I
yes, but I knew Jack more than I knew
Yes,
Mary.
yes.
So anyway, but he was he loved show business so much. He lived for it,
Yeah.
really. And every actor could learn something from him. He was such a generous man. He was entirely the opposite of the part he
character.
portrayed.
Yes, yes, yes.
I mean, he was so generous that, for instance, he would, for instance, take me out to lunch, and he would say, I'll send a cab for you. I'd say, well, Jack, it's just around the corner. I can walk around the corner. He said, no, I want you to arrive in style. So he'd send a cab, and in those days, going around the corner was like 50 cents. And he'd tip the guy $2. And the guy, I remember one cabbie said, oh, please, Mr. Benny, he said, take it back. And Jack said, well, why? He said, well, I want to be able to say to my wife that Jack Benny's the cheapest man I've ever met. Please don't give me $2.
He was,
He was very generous, and his timing was so perfect that he loved people, and he loved actors with his heart, and musicians, of course, so that he was such a doll to get along with. And he if he thought that you weren't reading something correctly, he'd go up to you and tell you, but
Oh,
in
he
a
did.
very nice way.
That's nice.
You know, he was a real doll.
Uh-huh.
I loved him very, very, very deeply.
Very talented.
Yeah.
Like you say, the timing.
The timing is
Well,
the most important thing.
And that's what he used to say. If you were off a split second, he said that's the making of a joke or the death of it, you see.
Yeah, that's the trouble with our comics today. Of these young comedians, they don't have
They don't
timing.
have that perfect timing.
timing.
Yeah.
They can just go out there and use those words,
Yeah.
but they don't have the timing.
And he used to say that there's certain numbers that are funny, and others aren't. He said, is 40 funny?
40.
No, 39, that's
39
funny.
is funny, yeah.
And he used to come up with
Uh-huh.
different examples, you know, of how numbers are even funny. So
Right.
even constructing a joke, he would say, well, I bought 11 of them. He wouldn't say I bought a dozen. No, he'd pick
So
a funny...
basically, your training, Giselle, was not taught. It's just naturally out there working.
Yes,
It's just
yes,
actually
I
going
learned
out there
working.
and
Yes.
work on stage.
Yes.
And
And
that's
that's
the
the best teacher.
Hey, that is the best. That's where I started, darling. That is
No,
what the
there's
kids.
no- there's no greater teacher.
kids. No. The kids today don't have that.
Yeah.
They have
There's
the
a lot of
comedy
places-
store, the
there's-
improv.
There's not the places to go anymore. I mean, as far as musicians are concerned.
Uh-huh.
I mean, Vegas used to have all the lounges, and you could take a group in, and if you were a singer,
Uh-huh.
you'd hone your act, and maybe you got to be the opening act for somebody else, and then
Mm-hmm.
maybe you got to be the star.
Uh-huh.
But now, how many...
There's no place to be lousy.
Yeah,
Hey,
you no
that's
place to...
Dick Dale, is there a good jazz room in this town in Los Angeles? In the Valley, there is one, I know. But in Los Angeles, there aren't any clubs, nightclubs, really.
Yeah.
Are there? Can you
No,
come
there
up
are,
with some?
well, of course, there are some of the big bands around town, like Roger Newman has a great band, and they will play around, like, they play at the Holiday Inn in Hollywood, I think it is.
Oh, I didn't know they had
Yeah,
shows
they had,
there.
but
Oh,
on,
okay.
it's like on Monday nights, I think they have a jazz night.
Oh, I
And they
see.
bring the big bands, big jazz bands in, which is great.
What would you tell young musicians out there in Hollywood or out there in America?
Well,
How to prepare themselves for, you know,
I really don't know how you do it in this day and age. There's a lot of great colleges to go to, a lot of great jazz musicians come out of,
Uh-huh.
I think it's North Texas State.
Uh-huh.
And like all of your, like Woody Herman and
yes.
Maynard Ferguson and Buddy Rich, their bands are mostly made up of these young men. And there's a lot of young men out here that
Yes.
you just scare you to death if you hear them, if they have a chance to play.
Yes.
Giselle.
As I said, no place to be
Right,
lousy.
right?
Giselle MacKenzie. If you could have one wish at this moment, what would you wish for?
Oh, gee.
Come on, just one.
Oh, my goodness. Now that,
I
you see,
mean,
that's
you
the,
paid
that's
your
the tough-
dues.
That's the toughest thing to do.
You know, you paid your dues.
Apart from an evening with Tom Selleck.
I hate that word, you paid your dues. I shouldn't say that, you paid your dues.
You missed it. You missed it.
I'm sorry.
I said, apart from one evening with Tom Selleck.
Oh,
You meant
hey,
apart
that's
from
what
that,
I
right?
heard about that. You like that. Why do you like him so much?
Oh, he's adorable. Oh,
Really?
He's adorable. There's just one word. That's all.
Okay.
He's
That's-
just adorable.
But if you could make one wish, what
Well, you know, I read something recently that said if you stop and ask somebody really one wish, do you realize how difficult one wish
Yeah.
is? Because you can't say, well, if I have my health and if I have this and if I have that, my one wish would be.
Uh-huh.
Which,
Yeah.
which would it be,
Yeah.
right?
You got to
I-
have 10 before you can have one, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And because you're not really sure of what the one wish would
Yes.
be. I suppose the cover as much ground as you can. Complete peace of mind. If you have peace of mind, you have
Usually have success.
fulfillment,
don't you?
success.
Yes.
You have, you know, love and prosperity, and you have it all. Because how can you have peace of mind if you're not well? How can you have peace
Yes,
of mind
yes.
if you're poor? So I would say peace of mind.
Giselle.
What would be yours?
Yes.
You can't take mine. You can't take
You
mine.
just took mine.
Yeah, what could be yours?
No, that,
If you want the same, you can have it.
she's very right in that you have to have a number of things before you can have the one wish.
There isn't one thing
There
that you
isn't-
can
there is
really
no-
ask anybody. Skip.
I see.
What would yours be?
What?
One
health,
thing.
Health, that's the most important thing. Health and happiness, that's all.
That's
Well,
true. That's
no,
true.
no, that's two.
Okay, it's two. Okay, I like simplicity though. I like just to be just a, you know, just nice little.
Now you're
person.
going into different, which
I
you
know,
said one.
I know.
You
Yeah,
you
health,
still
health,
didn't answer.
health.
What's yours?
Well, I suppose,
The universe is listening.
yeah, the universe is listening, and I'm thinking and not coming up with
He
an
has
answer.
great hair, hasn't he,
Oh, beautiful.
Giselle?
Well,
Beautiful.
you know,
Fabulous hair.
for years, I suppose, I didn't use, well...
You still haven't answered our question.
Well, that's
I'll
his
get back
wish.
to you in a minute, huh?
That's his wish, not to lose his hair, darling.
Oh, he never
As
will.
one of the guys on the band says, I don't care if it turns green as long as I keep it. That's the main thing. But it's, like, I think you're right in your answer. It's, if you have health, and if you're successful, you'll have peace of mind. You know, I mean, that's
Yes.
just one or two things. But
Gisele, what are you doing at the moment now? You said you've been doing soaps, right? You're doing acting
Well, I did,
soaps. Yeah, right.
but the lady came back.
Anything else coming in Gisele MacKenzie's life?
Well, I do
Anything coming up?
concerts and one-night engagements, a lot.
You are doing it.
Yes, and I've appeared with some symphonies as well, which is a new thing.
do you
for
Now,
me.
where do we
play
see Gisele?
violin?
I don't play the violin since Mr. Benny left.
Oh,
You don't?
It's too much trouble.
too much work
You
to
said
get
we don't
getting
play
back
the
into shape.
violin since Mr. Benny left.
Well, I
What do
mean,
you
it was fun while
Because-
playing it with him because it was, you know, our famous violin duets that were funny. But to me, it's a suicidal instrument. If you don't practice,
I see.
one day you lose 3 weeks
I see.
of progress. So I say to myself, well, have you ever seen a famous violinist who smiles?
No.
Isaac Stern hasn't
Yeah.
smiled in years.
Yes, true.
Yosha Hypus
Yes.
has never
Perlman,
smiled.
Perlman.
Perlman is the only one.
He's got a sense of humor.
Tell me, Gisele.
Yes, that's
Great
about
sense
it.
So where do we see Gisele MacKenzie nowadays singing?
Hopefully it'll be on television.
Uh-huh.
Gee, maybe Cagney and Lacey need me as a...
You said that
a kind
again,
of another
Cagney and
cop.
Lacey.
You like that
want-
show, huh?
You
Yes,
like
I
that
do.
like to
show?
be a
like that
cop?
show. Oh, sure. I'd be a wonderful doctor.
Yeah?
Oh, yes, I'd be a great doctor.
Are you listening out there?
They're listening.
Oh, yes, if you ask me what, and I'd be a lovely judge.
Now, how about your records?
Boom!
Gisele, those old records, they're still big hits.
Well, the thing
Still
is,
big
by now
hits.
they're out of print, you know, my records.
Yeah,
So,
they're still a big hit. And a lot of people have asked, where is Gisele MacKenzie? What is she doing?
well, nowadays they
want to know, and that's what I had you on the show for, to find out where have you been, what you've been doing.
well, I've been doing a variety of things, is all I can say.
You're-
And,
is there a man in your life at the moment?
not at the moment, no.
Tom Selleck.
Well,
Except-
he doesn't
Oh,
know
he's
it.
always there.
He doesn't know it.
He
So
doesn't
there
know.
is no
And I
man.
have to share him with so many.
There is no man in your life at the moment.
Not at the
You have
moment.
2 lovely children,
Yes,
and you seem very, very happy.
I am.
And children? 4?
I have 4 children.
4.
3 boys and a girl.
Are they in the business too?
No, my oldest boy is in computer business. He's a computer technician, and he played bass guitar and played it very well. He had a great facility. And I said, well, okay, we'll go take some lessons. But he didn't want. He wanted to be discovered. I guess that's what. But he didn't want to
Oh,
take
discovered,
lessons.
that's a good
Yeah,
word.
right. and my daughter is
Do you
an
still
artist.
see? Do you still see